Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi al-faizina biridallah wa man ahsanu qawlan mimman da'a ila Allah wa amila salihan wa qala innani minal muslimin. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. May peace and blessings from Almighty Allah be bestowed upon you. Once a wealthy young man scribbled on a paper all the blessings in his life and submitted the list to an old learned man for his wise opinion. The list takes in wealth and health, fame and glamour, power and authority, education, relatives and friends and family, and much more, which we mortals dream and long for. After glancing through the list, the old man said, "The blessings you have written are beautiful, but in the absence of one important blessing, all the other blessings are immaterial, are meaningless." And he took a pen and scores everything that's written in the list and just wrote one word: peace. And he said, "Almighty Allah blesses people with all the blessings you have written and much more. But the word peace which I have written, He reserves for few. He reserves only to His true believers, true followers." The old man is right. Without peace of mind, we cannot have happiness. Can you be happy if you're frightened? Can you enjoy life if you suffer from depression and anxiety? How many of you are free from these negative thoughts and emotions? We all want peace and happiness, but they are so elusive. We cannot buy peace and happiness with all our money. We can definitely buy an expensive cot and a comfortable bed, but can you buy sleep? You cannot. You cannot enjoy a delicious food or luxurious car or majestic mansions or even entertainments if you suffer from depression and anxiety. For instance, Switzerland is neither involved in any external wars nor suffers from any internal disturbances or rebellious conflicts. The country has a very strong economy and its people enjoy very high standards and stands first in international rating in happiness. Still, Daniel Schuler, an ex-official of the Swiss Health Observatory, stated that 1/3 of the Swiss population suffer from various psychological ailments, and that's going to be the biggest challenge for the Swiss health service in the coming decades. They suffer from broken marriages and suicides, alcoholism and addiction to drugs. Luxury and opulence can never guarantee peace and happiness. If they could, then all millionaires and billionaires ought to be happy. But we find many affluent people suffer from depression and they commit suicide. The problem is not with wealth or money. The problem is with us. Islam does not say that earning wealth and money are evil. On the contrary, Islam encourages you to work hard and earn and spend as per your in a comfortable living style. Islam does not deprecate living a comfortable life, but only discourages extravaganza and waste. Now, may I ask you one question? Can anyone tell me which is the biggest predicament of wealth? Can anyone? I'm asking a question. Can anyone say what's the biggest problem with wealth and money? The biggest problem is that we are never satisfied with what we have. As we go on amassing wealth, we want more and more and more and more. This unquenchable thirst and hunger for wealth and money leads us to depression and anxiety, and that affects our physical and mental health. As all of you should understand that wealth and money are not an end. The end goal is our happiness, our peace of mind. If you do not get peace of mind and if you do not get happiness, you have to think twice. Why should I? Why should I destroy my life for the unquenchable thirst for wealth and money? What I said about wealth and money is equally applicable to consumer products also. You're never satisfied with consumer products. For instance, you want to buy a car. After making enough money, you purchased a Maruti Alto car and you're happy. But how long? After a few months, one of your close friends purchased a Honda City and everybody admires his car and you're sad. Not because the utility of your car is diminished, but everybody admires his car. Now you want to buy a Honda Accord to impress your friends. And with great difficulty you purchased one and you're happy. But after a few months, one of your close relative purchased one Mercedes A-Class. Then you want to buy a C-Class, then a E-Class, then an S-Class, then a Maybach. And as you go on earning money, your desires shoot up. Now you want to buy a Rolls-Royce Bentley or a Italian brand Lamborghini. Even if you purchase the most expensive car in the whole world, is there a guarantee that you will be happy? Next year, when the new model is launched in the market with new looks, new style, new comfort, and new features, you aspire for that. If anybody has got a doubt about it, think about your craze for latest mobile phones and gadgets, exploiting your unsatisfied mind. Every year, these mobile companies or automobile industry launches 2 new models with slight differences, and you long for that. That's why our dear Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if man gets 2 mountain sizes of gold, he will aspire for a 3rd one. And Prophet Isa alayhi salam equated man's greed for wealth and money to that of a drunkard's addiction for liquor. As he goes on drinking, he wants more and more and more and more. That's why Islam, recognizing the nature of human mind, mandated every bridegroom to say to the bride's father at the time of nikah ceremony, I accept your daughter as my wife and I am satisfied. The word satisfaction assumes great importance, because after the marriage, the bride may think, I would have got a better bridegroom, and bridegroom may think, I would have got a better bride. So satisfaction is crucial not only for marital life, but in all walks of our life. Now, can fame, glamour, and stardom give a person happiness? Definitely. They can give temporary happiness and fulfillment in your life. But this external success can never give a long-lasting peace and happiness. If they could, then Hollywood's most successful actress Marilyn Monroe would not have committed suicide. Elvis Presley and Michael Jackson would not have taken refuge in dangerous drugs. Many celebrities, they have committed suicide in spite of the fact that they have the resources for happiness and entertainment. The suicide of Oscar-winning Hollywood actor and comedian Robin Williams is fresh in our minds. Uncertainty of stardom haunts these celebrities. That gives them sleepless nights. A few flops are more than enough to push them to disappear into oblivion. Fear of competitors, rivals, and newcomers usurping their stardom, stealing limelight from them, always haunts them. That's why many celebrities suffer from various mental health issues, substance abuse, as well as personal challenges in their life. So happiness should come from within. Sustained happiness you can never get from external accomplishments or validation or material possessions alone. Now the next question. Can health guarantee peace and happiness? Health can definitely guarantee peace and happiness because it allows individuals to live a more active life, a more fulfilling life. But health is not the sole criteria for happiness. Many people who suffer from health issues finds happiness and fulfillment in their lives, whereas many people who are healthy led a very miserable life. You have to understand one thing. Health is one of the greatest blessings from Almighty Allah. But a large number of people unnecessarily imagine diseases and get depressed. And they spoil their health. It's quite normal to have fever, pain. And 99% of such cases will be quite normal, harmless. Certain cases may turn out to be dangerous. But the large number of people apprehend danger. For instance, if a person feels pain in his stomach, and if the pain continues for a few days, he starts to get worried. He goes on pressing the right side of his stomach, then left side of his stomach, then the upper part, then the lower part, and concludes, even without consulting a gastroenterologist or taking a scan, that it's a hopeless case of stomach cancer. And as he searches the internet to find out the symptoms, to his shock he finds all the symptoms perfectly match the troubles he is having or his conclusions. And he panics. He broods for days, weeks and months. He's scared to take a scan because he apprehends a worse scenario. And when the situation becomes unbearable, he goes to a doctor. Doctor in turn suggests a scan, and the scan report reveals nothing to worry, not a sign of cancer, and he is relieved. But what about the days, weeks and months he has lost in his life? They are gone. Gone forever. You can never get it back. I know a middle-aged man who was diagnosed by a neurologist having early symptoms of Parkinson's disease. And he panicked. His wife requested my help to console him. So I went to his house. And I was surprised to see this person walking very slowly, as if he is passing through the final stages of Parkinson's disease. In fact, he was diagnosed only the previous day, and until the doctor broke the news, he was walking quite normally. I requested him to repeat the scan to rule out any errors. The next day, after taking the report, it revealed that the first report was wrong. After reading the report, this person started walking normally. So what made that person behave and walk like a person who is going through the final and most critical stages of stomach cancer? It's not the disease, because he was not having it. It was his mental attitude. Just remember, depression and anxiety can mimic a number of medical disorders, because your mood swings often create a wide variety of puzzling physical symptoms. Hence, healthcare is a major factor that affects our peace and happiness. Apart from that, many people worry about events that may or may not happen in the future, or they are troubled by events that had happened in the past. They apprehend that some misfortunes or accidents may snatch our dear and near ones from them, or they fear that they may not live long to see their kids happily married and well settled. They suffer from guilty conscience and felt irritated and angry when they are criticized. Fear of failures make them sad and anxious, and lack of appreciation by others make them dejected. These are all imaginary problems. By adding the burden of dead yesterdays and unborn tomorrows to the burden of today, any person will become weak. Overall human experience is filled with happiness, worries and anxiety. But you should always remember, it's important that everyone faces such challenges. Apart from seeking help and support and finding ways of health coping mechanism, the best and most effective manner to overcome these real and imaginary problems is to be sincere to one's own faith. That's what the old man, the wise man, advised the wealthy young person. Almighty God has blessed people with all the blessings, but He has reserved peace of mind only to His true followers, true believers. But unfortunately, a large number of Muslims are namesake Muslims. They recognize Allah, but they do not follow His commandments. They say they love their dear Prophet, but they do not follow His Sunnah. They enjoy the blessings of Allah, but they are not grateful to Him. They read the noble Quran, but do not put that into practice. They want to enter heaven, but they do not work for it. They do not want to enter hell, but they do not run away from it. They proclaim Shaitan is number one enemy, but do not fight against him. They all know that all living beings will face death, but they do not prepare for it. They point fingers at others, but often forget their own blemishes and shortcomings. They bury the dead, but they do not learn lessons from that. They say one thing and act in a different manner. Do you want to know? I repeat, do you want to know how many marks you have obtained before Allah? Do you want to know? Do you want to know whether you are a true believer or not? There is a simple test. I repeat, there is a simple test. Ask yourself, how many marks I have given to Allah in my life, in my attitude, in my behavior, in my honesty, in my financial dealings, in discharging my obligations towards my parents and my relatives, my friends and my community? You will get the answer. The marks you obtained on the basis of your self-analysis will tell you your score before Almighty Allah, whether you're a true believer or not. A student should be a good Muslim in his educational institution, a doctor in his hospital, a lawyer, an advocate in his court, a journalist in his journals, a businessman in his business establishment. Then and then only we will be able to propagate our faith through our life. For example, if a person approaches a Muslim government official with a genuine request, and if he deserves it, do that for him. And as if he offers a bribe, with a smile say, I'm a Muslim. I am a Muslim. I do not take bribe. That person will think about it. When bribes ruled the day, is it not his faith that prevented him from taking bribe? So they may study about Islam. They may accept Islam. That's why the Messenger of Allah said, the strongest weapon of a Muslim should be his life itself. When Aisha radiallahu anha was asked what was the character of the Prophet, Aisha radiallahu anha said, Khuluquhu al-Quran. Quran was his character. Verse 15 of chapter 49 of the Noble Quran says, Innamal mu'minuna alladhina amanu billahi wa rasulihi summa lam yartabu wa jahadu bi amwalihim wa anfusihim fi sabilillah ulaika humus sadiqun. Only, I repeat, only those are believers who believe in Allah and His Prophet and never since doubted about it, and who are willing to sacrifice their life and wealth in the cause of Allah. Such are the sincere ones. You have to ask yourself whether your faith is beyond doubt. If you refrain from committing a sin or a wrong when others are watching, at the same time you do the same wrong when you're alone, then your belief is not beyond doubt. Because you say that Allah knows everything, Allah sees everything, Allah hears everything, and Allah is very near even our jugular vein. And at the same time, when you do not hesitate to commit the wrong when you are alone, then you have to think about your faith. Unless and until we are able to sacrifice our life and wealth in the cause of Allah, we cannot be a true believer. Once a messenger of Roman Emperor Caesar came to Medina to meet the great Caliph Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anhu to deliver a message. Before reaching Medina, he visualized the Caliph sitting in a diamond-studded gold throne in a majestic palace, surrounded by pomp and splendor, and surrounded by soldiers. As he reached Medina, he looked around. There was no trace of a palace, no trace of pomp and splendor, no trace of soldiers. And he asked a person, "Where is your Caliph Umar?" The person pointed to a person, and the messenger from Caesar looked at that direction and saw a person sleeping under the tree in sweltering heat, using palm leaves as bed and hands as pillow. He was taken aback. He couldn't believe his eyes. He asked the man, "Is he the ruler, the greatest ruler of our times? The strongest, the military commander of our time? The richest person of our time?" With tear-filled eyes, he went near Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anhu. And when the Caliph opened his eyes, he said, "My emperor is a cruel man. He treats people cruelly. He exploits them. He lives in luxury. But you are a good ruler. You love your people. You treat them well. You do not exploit them. That's why my emperor cannot sleep soundly. He does not have peace of mind. But you can sleep soundly because you have peace of mind." Hence, if you want peace of mind, if you want happiness, the real happiness, if you want success in this world and in the world hereafter, you have to think about it. I'm concluding telling a story. Once a person get up in the morning, and after some time, he started practicing his musical instrument. And there was no sound. And he wondered what happened to the sound of the musical instrument. Then after some time, when he was proceeding to the market, he saw the church bell moving. Again, there was no sound. And he started wondering what happened to the church bell. As he advanced further, he saw a group of people raising hands and shouting slogans. Again, there was no sound. And that amazed him. And as he advanced further, he saw water falling from a tap to a metal container with great force. And there was no sound. Now he realized the problem is not with the musical instrument, the church bell, the vocal cords of the people, but within my ear. That realization is the first step to be a true believer. Before pointing fingers at others, you have to point your fingers at yourself. As the great poet Rumi said, when I was clever, I thought of changing the world. And when I became wiser, I realized that it was I who has to change. And if I realize it, and if you realize it, that will be the first step to the path of a true believer. That will be the first step to the path of real happiness. That's advice which I have to give to you first, to myself. I repeat, first to myself, then and then only to you. May Allah bless all of us. Allahumma ighfir lil mu'minina wal mu'minat wal muslimina wal muslimat. Allahumma hina lil kitabi was sunnah wa mitna mal imani wa tawbah. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. السلام عليكم.